give up.
And in view of this second attempt at joy, it might pay you to remind yourself that neither of us has proved to be a very great success in the world.
We just picked the wrong first husbands, that's all.
That's extremely vulgar, Mama.
Well, who cares about either of them more? Golly Moses, I'm going to be happy now.
Oh, darling.
Isn't George an angel?
Oh, George is an angel.
Is he handsome or is he not?
George is handsome.
Sucks. I'm a lucky girl.
I like that stuff.
Really? Why don't you ask him to lunch or something?
Rather mean to her, my dear.
Did he really suck her?
Don't say suck, darling. Strike is quite an ugly enough word as it is.
But did he really?
I'm afraid I don't know the details.
Cruelty and drunkenness, it said.
Dinah!
It was right in the paper.
Oh, you read too much. You'll spoil your eyes.
I think it's an awful thing to say about a man. I don't think they like things like that said about them.
I'm sure they don't.
Father's going to be hopping when he reads all this about himself in the magazine Destiny when it comes out.
Oh, what? About who?
Father, that they're going to publish.
Dinah, what are you talking about?
It's what they call Capricious. It's an article that they're going to call Broadway and Finance. And Father's in it. And they sent it to Sandy to sort of, unapproval.
But what's the article? What does the article say?
It's partly about Father back in 3 shows as a dancer. What's her name? Tina Mara. And Staples. And his early history. And why he's in New York instead of us anymore. And
Great heavens. What on earth can we do?
could a father suit him for libel?
But it's true. It's all... That is, I mean
I
to
don't
say.
think the part about Tina Mara was the way that they put it. And simply full of innuendo.
Of what?
Of innuendo. I do wish something would happen here. Nothing ever personally ever happens here. Next year, can I get to the conservatory in New York? They teach you to sing and dance and act and everything at once. Can I, Mother?
Oh, save your dramatics, Dinah. Why didn't Sandy tell me?
Mother, why didn't Tracy ask her father to our wedding?
Your sister has very definite opinions about certain things.
She's sort of, hard, isn't she?
Not hard. None of my children is that, I hope. Tracy sets exceptionally high standards for herself, that's all. And although she lives up to them, other people aren't always quite able to. If your Uncle Willie Tracy comes in, tell him to wait. I want to see him.
But Mother, isn't it stinking not to at least want Father?
Yes, darling. Between ourselves, I think it's good and stinking.
And I bet if Dexter knew what she... Hello, may I please speak to Mr. Dexter Haven? What? Dexter, it's you. A very great pleasure to have you back. Dinah, you go down a look. What? You bet. Look at this. Tracy says, why don't you come right over for lunch? What? But she told me to ask you. Listen, don't make me beg you. Hello? Hello? Who was that? Wrong number.
Listen, darling, give me a hand with this cockeyed seating arrangement, will you? Please hold it down. George doesn't want the grants at the bridal table. He says they're fast. He
Hello,
says,
kids.
Sandy!
Where's Mom?
She's around. How's New York? How's Sue? How's the baby?
Blooming. They send their love. Sorry they can't make it to the wedding. There is a party tonight, of course.
Aunt Geneva's throwing a monster.
Boy, am I going to get plastered. Hello, little fella.
Hello, yourself.
This is for you, Mom. Get the 3 race horses into the paddock. It's tough. Work it out.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, and Tracy, Susan and I's wedding present comes by registered mail. And a pretty penny to set me back.
You're a bonny boy, Sandy. I love you.
Beautiful.
I was wondering about you.
Give us a kiss. Oh, imagine this. A grandmother. How's everything?
Oh, absolute chaos.
Just how you like it. Just when you function best.
How is my precious grandchild?
10 more days in the hospital and they'll be back home.
I broke into your house and did up the nursery.
Good girl. Oh, Tracy, where's George?
Oh, he's staying in the Gibb house. And he still had business things to clear up, and I thought it'd be quieter there.
Did he see his picture in the Dime? Was he sore at the former coal miner caption?
What is this absurd article about your father and Tina Mara in Destiny? Can it be stopped?
About father! Let me see.
Where'd you get that?
Get ready for lunch, Dinah.
In a minute, I'm busy.
The absolute devils! Who publishes Destiny?
Sydney Kidd. Also Dime, the picture sheet, and Spy, and... You know, I worked for Dime 2 summers back, for a while.
Stopped. It's got to be. I'll go to him myself.
Fat lot of good that'll do. You're too much alike. God save us from the strong. I got to speak to the kid. It took about 3 hours, but I think I finally got through to him.
What happened?
I think I fixed things.
How?
That would be telling.
Just so long as your father never hears of it.
Oh, I had a copy made up and sent it around to his flat. With a little note saying, "How do you like it?"
Oh, you are a fella.
Sandy.
What? Let him worry a little.
Let him worry a lot.
Yes, Thomas.
Mr. Connor and the lady say they'll be up in a moment, sir.
Great. Have Mayor Elise look after Miss Imbrie, will you?
Very good, sir.
What's all this?
Mr. Connor and...
Mike Connor, Macaulay Connor, and Elizabeth Imbrie. I'm putting them up for a few nights over the way.
You asked people to stay in this house without even asking us?
I think it's very queer indeed.
I think it's queerer than that. I think it's paranoid.
Keep your shirt on, Tracy. We ran into each other and we got sort of talking about what riot weddings are as a rule, and they had never been to a Philadelphia one. So I thought...
You're lying, Sandy.
Keep your,
I can always tell.
keep your shirt on, Tracy.
Elizabeth Imbrie. I know that name. She's a... Wait, damn your eyes, Sandy. She's a photographer.
For a fact.
For a couple of facts, and a famous one.
Well, it might be good to have some shots of the wedding.
What are they doing here?
Just now, I suppose they're brushing up and going to the back. They're interesting people, Tracy. She's practically an artist, and he's written a couple of books, and I thought you liked interesting people.
I do.
I know. Now I know. They're from Destiny. Destiny sent them.
Destiny?
You're a massive intuition, Tracy.
Well, they can go right back again.
No, they can't. Not till they get their story.
Story? What story?
The Philadelphia story!
And what on earth's that?
Sydney Kidd has had Mike and Imbrie up here doing the town, writing it up. It's to come out in 3 parts in the autumn. To start with, industrial Philadelphia, historical Philadelphia, and of course, the third.
I'm going to be sick.
That's right. Fashionable Philadelphia.
I am sick.
But why us? Surely there are other families who would...
Yes, why not the Drexels or the Biddles or the Cassays?
We go even further back. It's those Quakers. And of course, your first marriage, and then your good looks, and general prowess, and golf, and fox hunting, and, oh, a little big game on the side. Oh, and of course, your impending second marriage into the coal mine.
Never mind that.
Oh, I don't, but they do. It's news, darling. News.
Is there no such thing as privacy anymore?
Only in bed, Mother. Not always there.
I was licked, and well, what else could I do?
A trade, eh? So, where'd all the publish the inside story of my wedding in order to keep Father's wretched little affair quiet.
It's utterly and completely disgusting.
It was my idea, not his. I may have been put in the way of making it, but who's to say that the future President of the United States?
What's the writer's name again?
Mike Connor. Macaulay Connor. I don't think he likes the assignment any more than we do. The gal they were handling the industrial act.
My heart's breaking for them.
I don't know what the world is coming to. Quite an absolute invasion. Two strange people tramping through the house, prying and investigating.
Maybe we're in the middle of a revolution without knowing it. Hello, is Mr. Briggs there? This is Tracy Lord, Mr. Briggs. Look, I wonder if you happen to have on hand any books by Macaulay Connor. You have. Could you surely send them out this afternoon? Thanks, Mr. Briggs. You're sweet. They've got to have a story. I'll give them a story. I'll give them one they can't get through the mails.
I was afraid of this.
Who do they think they are, barging in on peaceful people, watching every little mannerism, jotting down notes on how we sit and stand and talk and eat and move?
Will they do that?
And all in the horrible, snide, corkscrew English. Well, if we got to submit to it to save Father's face, which incidentally doesn't deserve it, I'm all for giving them a picture of home life that'll stand their hair on it.
You will do nothing of the sort, Tracy.
She thinks that she'll be the outrageous Miss Lord. The fact of the matter is that she'll be the sweetest and light of the net.
Oh, will I?
You don't know what it's like, Tracy. What being under the microscope does to me. I felt it a little in the car on the way out. It's a funny feeling.
Odd how self-conscious we've become over the worldly possessions that once made us so confident.
I know. You begin to explain it away like you would a black eye. You just sort of ran into it in the dark or something.
We shall be ourselves with them. Very much ourselves.
But Mother, you want us to create a good impression, don't you?
They don't know that we know what they're here for, I hope.
That was understood.
I actually think it was awfully funny to Bob was trying to his own daughter's wedding.
Would you now?
I faced that too.
How do you mean you did?
So, I've got a suit to send a telegram just before dinner. Confined to bed, sorry I can't make nuptials, oceans of love, fuck.
Just not in those words.
Well, not exactly. It's to come over the telephone and then, well, Thomas will tell you and you won't have the glasses, and so you'll get him to read it out to you and...
Tracy, do you promise to behave like a lady, if only for my sake?
I'll do my best, Mrs. Lord. I don't know how good that is.
Go put a dress on.
Yes, Mother.
There are too many legs around here.
Suds, I'll be pure Victorian, all frills and ruffles, conversationally chaste as an egg. Oh, hello, Uncle Willie. Where did you come from?
Your Aunt Geneva has requested my absence from the house until dinner time.
Can you give me lunch, Margaret?
But of course, with pleasure.
Hello, Uncle Willie.
Dinah,
How are you, Uncle Will?
Alexander, good morning. My esteemed wife, the old warhorse, is certainly spreading herself for your party. I seriously question the propriety of such displays at such times, but she... What, aren't you getting married in the church, Tracy?
I like the garden here so much better. Didn't it look pretty as you came through?
That's not the point. The point is, I've sunk thousands into that church and I'd like to get some use of it. Pull me a glass of sherry, Margaret.
Oh, not until lunchtime, my dear.
These women?
You are a really wicked old man, aren't you, Uncle Willie?
What's that over there?
Ouch!
Never play with fire, child. Now, what's the like here? What's a stirrer? What's amiss?
Uncle Willie, do you know anything about the laws of libel?
Certainly I know about the laws of libel. Why shouldn't I? I know all about them. Why, in 1916, I, William Q. Tracy, successfully defended the Post and George Lorimer against one of the cleverest, one of the subtlest. What? What do you want to say?
Well, it's not what I want to say.
Is it enough if they can simply prove that it is true?
Certainly not. Take me. If I was totally bald and wore a toupee, if I had flat feet and those damnable middle arches, if I had false teeth and a case of double...
Poor Uncle Willie.
I said if I had. No. And if such facts were presented in the public prints in such a manner as to hold me up to public ridicule, I could collect substantial damages. And I would if it took me all winter.
Suppose the other way around. Suppose they printed things that weren't true.
Suppose they had. Suppose it was erroneously stated that during my travels when I was younger, I was married in a native ceremony to a dusky maiden from British Guinea. Oh. I doubt I could collect consent. Who are these two strange people coming down the hall?
Oh, good gracious.
Come on, out. What was she like, Uncle Willie?
Who?
British Guinea.
Oh, still unlike your Aunt Geneva, my dear.
Dinah,
Only
Sandy can entertain him until we collect ourselves.
What'll I say?
I wish I could tell you in a few very well-chosen words.
in here?
Well, he said the sitting room. I suppose that's contrasted to the living room, the dining room, morning room, the drawing room. Oh, hello again. Here you are.
Here I am.
It's quite a place.
It is, isn't it? Look, I couldn't help but overhear you on your way in. Do you mind if I say something?
Not at all. What?
Your approach to your job is definitively antagonistic. And, well, I think you ought to give us a break.
Well, it's not a job I asked for.
Well, I know it's not, but in spite of this, and in spite of our inherited characteristics, we just might be fairly decent people.
You've got quite a style yourself. You're on the Saturday Evening Post, did you say?
Correct.
Which end?
Editorial.
I must say, in all honesty, I'm opposed to everything you represent.
Destiny is hardly the radical sheep. What is it you're doing again? Boring from within?
Hey, I'm not a communist, not by a long shot.
Just a slight pin feather in the left wing.
Sorry.
Jeffersonian Democrat.
Now that's more like it.
Have you ever seen his house in Monticello? It's quite a place.
Home team 1. Visitors, nothing.
Is this house very old, Mr. Lord?
No. The gatehouse is, however. It was built by Father's grandfather, back when we lived on Rittenhouse Square, for a summer house. This, however, was built by Mother and Father in the spring of 1910, just before my brother Junius was born. You won't be meeting him. He's on diplomatic service in London.
Wouldn't you know?
I used to work for Sidney Kidd. What do you make of it?
A brilliant editor and a very wonderful man.
Also, our bread and butter.
Sorry to have been rude.
I suppose you're all of you opposed to the administration.
No, as a matter of fact, we're loyalists.
Surprise, surprise. The research department didn't give us much data. Your sister's fiance, George Kittredge, age 32. Since last year, general manager Quaker State Coal, is that right?
And brilliant at it.
So I've heard tell. I first read about him back in 35 or 36. Up from the bottom, wasn't he?
And of the mind.
Reorganized the entire works.
He did.
National hero new model. Makes swooping family incomes to revive again. Anthracite, sweet anthracite. How did your sister happen to meet him?
She and I went up 3 months ago to look things over.
I see, and was it instant?
Immediate.
Good for her. Boy, he must be quite a guy. Say, which side of this fine aboriginal family would you say she resembles most?
The histories of both can be found in the library. I'll get them out for you now. While I'm at it, I'll see if I can round up some of the more living families.
They don't know about us, do they?
Wasn't enough, don't you think?
Much.
That's what I thought. Also what Kid thought.
Listen here, Lord.
Yes.
Why don't you throw us out?
I hope you'll never know.
Meaning what?
Search me.
Good luck. Maybe their kidder is up to his little tricks.
If only I could get away from his damn paper.
Sidney himself you can't get away from, dear.
Hey, I tried to resign again on the phone this morning.
Knickknacks, gimlocks, signed photographs. Wouldn't you know you have to be as rich as the Lord to live in a place like this? Save me! It's a Gilbert Stewart!
A what?
Catch me, Mike!
Oh, face the right, will you? First husband, C.K. Can you imagine what a guy named C.K. Dexter Haven must be like?
Macaulay Connor is not such a homespun tag, my pet.
Hey, I've been Mike since I can remember.
And maybe Dexter is Ducky to his friends.
I don't doubt it. Still, I wonder what the C.K. is for.
Maybe it's Pennsylvania Dutch for William Penn.
C.K. Dexter Haven. God.
I knew a plain Joe Smith once. He was just a clerk in a hardware store. He was an absolute louse, though.
Also plays polo. Also designs and races sailboats. Class boats, I think they call them. Very upper class.
Relax. He's out and Kittredge, man of the people, is in.
From what I've heard, quite a comer, too.
Political timber.
Poor fellow. I wonder how he fell for it.
I imagine she's a girl who knows what she wants, when she wants it.
Ah, yes. A young, rich, rapacious American female. There's no other country in the world where she exists.
I admit the idea of her scares even me. Would I trade places with her for all her wealth and beauty? Boy, just ask me.
I think I know how I'm going to begin. So much for historic, so much for industrial. Now, gentle reader, consider an entire section of American society in which, closely following the English tradition, lives off the land, but in a new sense. For it is not the land that provides the
You're
living. it is
getting ahead of yourself. Just wait till you do your documentation.
I'm tired. Kid is a slave driver. I want to go home. Also, I'm hungry. Tell 4 footmen to call me in time for lunch.
Oh, how do you do? Friends of Alexander's, are you not?
Why, yes, how do you do?
I'm Dana Lord, my real name Dana, but my sister changed it.
Oh, I'm Elizabeth Embry, and this is
Enchanted
Macaulay.
Boulevard. Enchanted barefoot connaissance. I speak French before I speak English. My early childhood was spent in Paris, where my father worked in a bank, the House of Morgan.
Really?
He's ever up to Mom. Can you play the piano? I can, and sing at the same time. Listen. Now I born at night till morning, but there was still rain.
What is
I was
this?
a kangaroo, so swing.
An idiot, probably. Don't worry, they have the best of families.
I come round the vine, and up that goes, and I see my one comes from totally kind now.
Especially the best.
Me out with a goldfish likes to sing. I saw a frozen buffalo, but he fell and broke his wing. I know that now south of the sea, so we get honey from a flea. And every most can climb a tree on the road to Mandalay.
Oh, excellent.
Ah, the Bahamas. How well I remember them. The perfume nights, the flowers, the native wines. I was there once on a little trip. Leopold Stokowski.
You were there with your governess after the whooping cough.
My sister, Tracy. Greetings, sister.
Mother wants to see you at once. At once?
You've got all my hair ribbon.
Your face is still dirty. It's awfully nice having you here. I do hope you'll stay for my wedding. Oh, we'd like that very much.
In fact, that was our idea.
I'm so pleased it occurred to you. But the house is rather a mess, of course. We'll have to huddle in here and overflow onto the porch. I hope your rooms are comfortable.
Oh, very, thank you.
And if you want, ask May or Elsie. They're magic. What a cunning little camera.
Oh, this is just a contacts. I'm afraid I'm a rather a nuisance with it.
Oh,
though.
but you couldn't be. I hope you'll take loads. Dear Papa and Mama aren't allowing any reporters in. That is, except for little Mr. Grace, who does the social news. Can you imagine a grown-up man having to sink so low?
It does seem pretty bad.
People have always been so kind about letting us live our simple and uneventful little life here unmolested. Of course, after my divorce last year. But I expect that always happens and is more or less deserved. Dear Papa was quite angry, though, and swore he'd never let another reporter inside the gate. He found some of their methods a trifle underhanded. You're a writer, aren't you, Mr. Connor?
In a manner of speaking.
Sandy told me. I've sent for your books. Macaulay Connor. What's the Macaulay for?
My father taught English history. I'm Mike to my friends.
Of whom you have many, I'm sure. English history has always fascinated me. Cromwell, Bloody Mary, John the Bastard. Where did he teach? I mean, your father.
In the high school in South Bend, Indiana.
South Bend. It sounds like dancing, doesn't it? You must have had the most happy childhood there.
It was terrific.
I'm so glad.
That's not how I meant it.
I'm so sorry. Why?
Largely due to the lack of wherewithal, I guess.
But that doesn't always cause unhappiness, does it? Not if you're the right kind of man. George Kittredge, my fiancé, never had anything either, did he? Are either of you two married?
No.
No. That is,
You mean, you were, but now you're divorced.
well, the fact is,
But you can't mean you're ashamed of it.
well, of course I'm not ashamed of it.
What?
Look, it was ages ago when we were kids in Duluth.
Liz, you never told me you were...
You never asked.
I know, but still.
Joe Smith. Hardware?
Liz, you are the damnedest girl.
I think I'm sweet. Duluth. That must be a lovely spot. It's west of here, isn't it?
Sort of. We occasionally get the breezes.
Is this your first visit in Philadelphia?
Just about.
It's a quaint old place, isn't it? I suppose it's affected somewhat by being the only really big city that's near New York.
That
is a good point to make about it, yes. Though I expect you consider us somewhat provincial. No, of course not, I'm sure. On customs and such. We're the scrappily biddle on Sundays. Of course, it is very old. Philadelphia, that is. The scrapper is fresh weekly. How old are you, Mr. Connor?
I was 30 last month.
2 books isn't much for a man of 30. I don't mean to criticize. You probably have other interests outside of your work.
No. Unless.
How sweet. Are you two living together?
Why, we, no.
That is an odd question, I must say. Why? It just is. I don't see why. I think it's very interesting. Miss Ivory, don't you agree that all this marrying and giving in marriage is just the damnedest trick that's ever been put on over an unsuspecting public?
Can she be human?
Please, Mr. Connor. I asked Miss Ivory a question. No. As a matter of fact, I don't. Good. Nor do I. That's why I'm putting my chin out for the second time tomorrow.
Tracy!
Here's the lucky man now. I'll bring him right in and put him on view. A one-man exhibition. In here, George. In here, my dear. God, who is doing the interviewing here?
She's a lot more than I bargained for.
You don't think she suspects?
No, she's just a hellion.
I'm beginning to feel the size of a pinhead.
Oh, don't let her throw you.
Would you like to take over?
I want to go home.
Miss Ivory, Mr. Connor, Mr. Kitteridge, my beau. Friends of Sandy's, George.
Oh, any friend of Sandy's?
How do you do?
How about a silk, thanks?
You sure look it.
Thanks, I've shaken quite a bit of coal dust from these feet in the last day or two.
Isn't he beautiful? Isn't it wonderful what a little soap and water will do?
Didn't I read a piece about you in the Nation a while ago?
Yes, that was quite a while ago. I've been resting on my laurels since then. And a few others.
That was quite a piece. Anticipating the Guffey Coal Act the way you did.
Oh, anybody should have foreseen that. I just got lucky.
A becoming modesty.
However, that's nothing to what's been done with labor relations.
You ought to see with the men. They simply adore him.
Oh, Tracy.
Oh, but it's true. Never in my life will I forget the first night I saw him. All those wonderful faces, and the torchlights, and the way his voice booms.
See, I'm really a spellbinder. That's how I got her.
Except it was me who got you. I'm going to put these two at the bridal table in place of the Grants.
That's a great idea.
George, it won't rain tomorrow, will it? Promise me it won't rain.
I will see to that personally.
I almost believe you could.
I guess this must be love.
Your guess would be correct, Mr. Connor.
I'm just his faithful old dog, Trev.
Give me a ball.
You got it.
How do you do? We're so happy to have you. Forgive me for not coming in sooner, but everything is in such a state. I had no idea that such a simple country wedding would involve so much. My little girl. Oh, I do hope you'll be comfortable. Those rooms are inclined to be hot in this weather. Oh, look at the way she does her hair, Tracy. Isn't she pretty? Aren't you pretty, my dear?
Mighty fine.
I do wish my husband might be here to greet you, but we expect him presently. He's been detained in New York on business for that lovely Tina Mara. You know her work?
Only vaguely.
So talented, and such a lovely person. But like so many artists, no business head, none whatsoever. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Miss Laura.
And this is my youngest daughter, Diane.
I believe we've met.
Thank you, Thomas.
Now let's all throw ourselves into things and relax. How are you, George?
Welcome back, Sandy.
model dairy, and the stables, and the chicken farm. And perhaps there'll be time to take you out to some of the places on the main line. Devon's, St. David's, Bryn Mawr, where my daughter Tracy went to college.
Shoes you got bounced out of.
Style.
It's a pretty kettle of fish when a man has to wait 2 mortal hours for a...
Papa! Dear Papa!
What's that?
Didn't the car meet you?
The car?
You angel, to drop everything and get here in time for lunch. Isn't he, Mama?
Indeed he is.
I'm not one to jump to conclusions when...
These are our friends, Miss Embry and Mr. Connor, Father. They're here for the wedding.
How are you, Mr. Lloyd?
How do you do?
Dash fine. How are you?
How are you, Pops?
Welcome back, Daddy.
Dino. Kittredge? Margaret, my sweet.
Mother, don't you think you ought to explain the new arrangements to Father before lunch?
Yes, I think I'd best. See here. Here are the latest arrangements. Seth.
Holy cats!
Dexter Haven!
Hello, friends and enemies. I came the short way across the field.
This is a surprise.
My sweet thing.
Now you go right home at once.
Remove yourself, young man.
But I was invited. And how are you, sir?
No better, no worse. Don't get along.
Sandy! Dexter, how are you, me boy?
Oh, never better. In fact, it is immoral how good I feel.
What brings me here to say?
Dynamite angel, you're a raving cutie. Awfully sweet and thoughtful of you to invite me over to lunch, Trey.
Not at all. Extra place, May.
Yes, miss.
Mr. Connor, Mr. Embry, my former husband, whose name for the moment escapes me.
Dexter, how do you do?
How do you do?
Dexter, how do you do? Of course, I intended on coming anyway, but the invitation did make it pleasant. Hello, Kittredge.
How are you, Haven?
What's the matter, old boy? You don't look as well as when I last saw you. Poor fellow. Know just how you feel. Redhead. But ain't seen the pink, though. You don't look old enough to be married for the first time, Red. You never did. She needs trouble to mature, Kittredge. Give her lots.
I'm afraid you can't rely on me for that.
No. Too bad. For your own sake, Red, I think you should have stuck to me a little while longer.
I thought it was for life, but the nice judge gave me a full pardon.
That's the kind of talk I like to hear. No bitterness, no recrimination. Just a quick swift right to the jaw.
Very funny.
Luncheon is.
Sir?
Thank you, Thomas.
I don't suppose a man ever had a better or finer family. I wake up in the middle of the night and I say to myself, "What, Seth, you lucky dog, what have you done to deserve it?"
And what have you?
Do you mind if I go in with Mr. Connor, Miss Embry? No, not in the least.
Sandy's your boy.
Because I think he's such an interesting man.
Come on, Don. I'll draw you, I guess.
Dexter!
Stealing one of my girls enough for you? You cad.
You're a smart man, Haven. I'll hire you one day.
That's very insulting, but consistently interesting. We must talk more.
I can see why you want to get out of this place.
I don't know how welcome I am, but after Sandy's note, I thought the least I could do.
Uncle Willie! Please go in, everyone. I want a word with Uncle Willie.
Well, daughter,
Well,
still justice with a shining sword, eh? Who's on the spot?
we are. Thanks to you, Uncle Willie. I may need more film.
I may need more paper.
You know, there's this cousin, Joanna, who is definitely crazy.
Who told you?
Dinah.
Dinah should know.
Where is she anyhow? I want to get some more shots of her while it's still light.
She's off schooling the horses somewhere. It's the horses to get the schooling around these parts. Did you shoot the old tycoon milking his cow?
Several times. He shot one at me, but he missed.
Caption. 70 times 7 fat kine has he. George Kittredge, important official, important company. Controlling interest owned by said lord.
What a coincidence! And will wonders never cease?
I'm inclined to like Kittredge. He's in a tough spot though. Haven prowling around.
A sinister fellow, Dexter.
It's very. George is interesting. Get him on coal sometime.
I'd rather have him on toast.
Answer me honestly, Liz. What right has a girl like Tracy Lord to exist?
Politically, socially, or economically?
I mean, what place does she have in the world today? I mean, come the revolution, she'll be the first to go.
Yeah, right out under the Red General's arm.
She's a new one on me. I don't know. Maybe Philadelphia breeds a different kind of monkey.
You're a funny one, Mike.
How?
Use the name Wanamaker in a sentence.
I bite.
I met this girl this morning. I hate her, but
I get you, but you're wrong. Right? You couldn't be wrong. Women like that bore the pants off.
For a writer, you sure use your figures of speech most ineptly. I just wish we could tell them why we were really here. They're all such sweet innocents. I kind of feel a little bit bad about it.
Would you accept this perfect rose, Miss
Oh, hello, Mr. Lord. Why, thank you. It is beautiful. Oh, hello.
Miss Embry is amused at something?
Yes, I am. About the fact that you are both nephew and uncle at the same time. I'd love to get a photograph of you two together.
Certainly. Stand up straight, Uncle Willie. Here's Gunkel and I. It was a case of stepsisters marrying half-brothers.
I see. That is, I think I do.
No incest, however.
Oh, of course not.
There is one other thing, however. Uncle Willie, I'm thinking of asking that little dance at Tina Mara to come and dance with the wedding guest tomorrow. Do you think that's a good idea?
Excellent. That might put an end to the ridiculous gossip about you and her.
Is there gossip?
There seems to be.
Is it ridiculous?
Oh, gossip is ridiculous?
Look alive, man! It's time to dress.
Right you are. Thank you, Sandy.
Miss Embry, as a camera feed, I think I have another interesting subject for you.
But will I have time?
Time is an illusion. Come with me, please. It's a part of the old house, a little removed from it.
But what is it?
An ancient granite privy of superb design. It's a vision of loveliness.
At sunset? Idyllic. Please, wait a minute.
With pleasure. What's the matter?
I've been reading these stories. They're so damned beautiful.
Well, you laugh. Thanks.
Why, Connor, they're almost poetry.
Oh, don't fool yourself. They are.
I can't make you out at all now.
Really? I thought I was easy.
So did I. But you're not. You talk so